Hey guys, how you doing? So in the effort of discovering new strategies, I have decided to test some stuff out for you guys. So what I did was actually, if you notice on my little bottom there where I got my 4 towers, I got a boomerang, a mortar, a farm, and a tack shooter. So we're basically going to test out tack shooters today and just see how good we think they are. Honestly, I think tack shooters are definitely a reasonable tower to use in the game. They're pretty darn good, to be honest, and they're very good for the beginning of the game, so that's the key thing here, guys. When you have a boomerang, you usually have to get a 2-3 boomerang to be able to survive until level 6, 8 or so, and doing that, you kind of waste a lot of money that you could be buying farms with. So realistically, the big difference between tack shooters and the other towers is that you can kind of upgrade them just a little bit less in the beginning here, usually survive pretty much just as much, and get a little bit of extra economy in the beginning. And the more economy you get in the beginning, the better it is later game. So that's basically what I'm going to talk about today, is just how good are tack shooters, when can you use them, why should you use them, when shouldn't you use them. And like I said, this is in the effort of understanding the game, this isn't in the effort of winning the game. Because as always, and you guys seem to like my weird little accent when I do my nerdy guy of telling me to do something when I didn't even mean to do that in the first place, so I'm going to do it again for you guys.
When you have lots and lots of balloons, why don't you send the balloons at your enemy? You could just send the balloons and you could win.
Yeah, I could win. I could probably win a lot here, and I'll actually go through and tell you when I think I could win quite a few times here, but I don't. I don't do that on purpose, guys, because I want to see how good tack shooters can be used late game. You know, is it a viable source of excellence for us winning late games? You know, who knows? 2-4 tack shooters. So let's go over each one of the tack shooters. First of all, I go over a lot of these in BTD 5 a lot, but I've never really gone over a lot of towers in depth in battle. So I'm actually going to go over pretty much every single upgrade that I think is decent. So first of all, 0-0 tack shooter. Is it good? You know, not really. It's not really worth it very much. I mean, obviously you can start off with it and you can beat round 1 with it, but if people start sending balloons at you, you're not going to be able to do anything with a 0-0 tack shooter. So realistically, 0-0 tack shooters, you know, not too good. 0-1 tack shooters. That's probably one of the worst upgrades for the tack shooters. I'd prefer getting 2 0-0 tack shooters over a 1-0 tack shooter. Just as a heads up there. They're about the same price, but realistically you're trying to get to a certain area. So instead of actually getting 2 0-0 tack shooters, you're actually better off saving up to try and get a 2-0 tack shooter, which 2-0 tack shooters are actually really good. 2-0 tack shooters are not like the best tower in the game or anything, but they're obviously really good. But for battles, even though 3-0 tack shooters in BTD 5 are decent and 2-0 are probably better, in battles, 3-0s seem like they're way better. For whatever reason, it seems like their tacks miss a lot less. So 2-0 tack shooters, good. 3-0 tack shooters, excellent. So your best way to go is actually 3-0 tack shooters in the beginning here. Do I recommend going some sort of... well, here, let's talk about the other upgrades really fast. Now you get a 0-1 upgrade and 0-2 upgrade. The range. It depends where you put your tower. If you put your tower in a really small circle, you don't need to upgrade the range. But if you put it kind of where I put it, where you can actually hit kind of a lot of places, if you increase the range, go ahead and do that. So that's what I recommend, guys. If you're putting it, depends on the spot where you put it, but for my spot, yeah, you probably want to upgrade the range at least once, sometimes twice. Usually once is enough, actually, guys. The range increase is actually quite a bit for the first one. Second one, reasonable. And if you notice actually how much economy I can actually get, he's not sending very many balloons out at me, but I have 2 2-0 farms and 1 3-0 farm. So that's what I'm talking about, guys, with tack shooters. If your enemy's not sending out very many balloons at you, you can probably get a lot more economy than boomers. You know, I still have a 386 in-game economy along with those farms as well. That's pretty ridiculous. And then I even go even further and I get another farm because he's not sending any balloons out at me. Now let's talk about the blade shooter, guys. That is a 0-3 or a 2-3 tack shooter. And overall, the blade shooters are reasonably good, but I think 3-0 tack shooters are definitely better for early game. So late game, yeah, you can probably go with the blade shooters because I think each blade actually goes through 2 balloons instead of 1. So that's the big difference here. You actually get more popping power out of the blades. And another thing just to mention here is monkey villages with tack shooters are actually extremely good, but with my strategy, you might be better off not going with the monkey villages, just as a heads up. I don't know, I can't really explain it too well, but basically monkey villages are kind of hard to get when you have only 4 towers, you know, so I say try and stick away from those, but if you can invent a strategy, go ahead and do that. Now I did get boomerangs, which you could just switch out boomerangs for a monkey village. Yeah, that's definitely okay, but I think actually going boomerangs is probably better than massing, you know, a bunch of tack shooters. So what I'm doing is I'm getting Blade Maelstrom, okay? Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Blade Maelstrom, which is a 2-4 tack shooter. Now your camo detection is all your mortar. So your mortar is the full camo detection. Now right now I can honestly win the game, send out a giant regrow rush. He could not hold that back. He's only got 1 boomer, 1 cannon, and a couple wizards, guys. There's no way he can hold that back, especially if I sell 2 of my farms, or even 3 of my farms. That's $15,000-$16,000 worth of regrows. No way. Now, with my mortar placement, even these camo pinks are not going to get through. I don't think any can actually get through with that placement. Maybe a few here and there when the lag hits you or something, but overall not really. So right now we're talking about how good are the tack shooters. Right now it seems like they're doing pretty darn good, right guys? So actually, just as a heads up here, I actually do go in-game economy instead of farm economy. It's actually better right around 13, 14, 15. If you have the money, go in-game economy, guys. Trust me, you can get a $10,000 or $1,000 in-game economy if you just sell one of your farms, and it's definitely worth it, guys. Definitely worth it. At least in my opinion, for right around now. Because by the time you get to the rounds that are 18, 19, 20, those are really long rounds, and your in-game economy is going to matter a lot more. So I actually get a huge in-game economy here. And one thing I noticed that he actually did pretty smart. He sent out a camo ceramic. And that was kind of interesting. They're kind of expensive, but what he was doing was he was trying to make it so my textures couldn't do their damage until he gets uncamoized. So that was kind of interesting. So I decided to actually just switch that up a little bit, and I did change and get 2-3 mortars, which is probably your best bet. But if you use Blade Maelstrom in the perfect time, you can actually pop those ceramics pretty much down to nothing, so that's the good news. So now we're getting around 18, you got Moabs, and you're wondering, can the tack shooters really take out Moabs? Surprisingly, you'll see. Surprisingly, yes, they can. You might think tack shooters are pretty bad versus Moabs, but honestly, they're actually not bad, especially with the Blade Maelstrom. Now, do I recommend massing a bunch of 3-0 tack shooters, massing a bunch of 2-3 tack shooters? Not really, guys, not really. You're just going to get too much lag. So, this is basically what I have to say. Early and mid-game, tack shooters are pretty darn good, guys. You can get a lot of economy, especially if your enemy is not attacking you, going with these blade shooters, guys. Or I mean tack shooters, in general. Mid-game, actually, surprisingly good as well, you know? You get one or two of these 2-4 Blade Maelstroms. You can actually beat ceramics, and even regrow ceramics, and lots of regrows. So realistically, not too bad, especially if he goes for one huge attack. He goes for a mixture of like sending out some regrows, then sending out nothing, then sending out some regrows. Kind of a weakness to it, but still, if you get a couple 2-3 boomers or something, or even some 3-0 boomers, you're gonna be set. So yeah, I mean, the early game, mid game, they're good, but here's the difference, guys. Once you get late game here, it's not quite as good, and you want to know why? Because Blade Maelstrom causes lag, massive amounts of lag. Honestly, this many Blade Maelstroms in BTD 5 could easily take out a BFB on this map. But the problem is, guys, too much lag. So what my enemy does is he actually sends out a BFB. By the way, I could win super easily right now. You know, sell whatever I want, just send out whatever I want. I could honestly just win. But he has no like Moab attack or anything. But now he sends out a BFB at me. I'm like, oh, let's see if I can survive. You know, I think I can actually survive. He's not actually doing too much. I actually pop the BFB right over here, you know, right at the beginning. And then here's the problem, guys. Here's where the lag starts coming in. If you notice, I'm just lagging like crazy, and I do end up losing the game. So honestly, not the best ending game towers. But that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you learned something, and have a good one.